I built a Quincy. I built and slept in it, and this is the video about it. So I'm going to try and build a Quincy in my back garden. It's actually incredibly thick, so I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm pretty optimistic about it. Let's give it a go. Now, a Quincy is a traditional Canadian snow hut, I think is the appropriate thing to say. It's basically like an igloo, except instead of building blocks and making an igloo in that way, you put a whole mound of snow. So you collect a whole mound of snow and then you hollow it out, making a hut within it. And I mean, it sounds like something that you do where there's a lot of snow, right? Well, here I'm in Suffolk. I'm not where there's normally a lot of snow. I'm not in Canada. I'm not in Norway. I am in the English countryside of the east of England. But it was like the outdoor gods, they heard me. They heard my cries for help, that I wished that I was in the Arctic or on the mountains. And you know what? They replied and they sent a ton of snow, honestly. It was more snow than I've ever seen here. And instead of what I could have been doing is sitting inside and watching how pretty it made everywhere look, I thought I have to do something. And I definitely didn't think when I started out that there was going to be enough snow for a Quincy, because it requires a lot of snow. But nevertheless, I went out, I put on all my Arctic gear, the normal stuff that I wear, and it made me feel so good. It made me feel like I was finally on an adventure, even though I was literally outside my parents' house door. It was awesome. So Quincy's are often used for emergency shelters. Snow is very, very a good insulator, so you can use it to keep warm. You can get out the wind, and it's insane how much of a good shelter it is. I went and I took my shovel and I went digging, and I found the place where all the wind had taken all the snow, created a snowdrift into the edge of the field, and it was so deep, and so I started digging there. It's honestly crazy to do this, and it makes me so excited. I know I spend a lot of time in snow throughout the year, but to have it in your own back garden is something else, so you don't expect it. It's so fun. With a Quincy, you have to make sure it's compact, you have to make sure you can stand on it, you have to make sure the roof is tall enough. With this, you make sure you've got some twigs, some sticks all around it so that you don't dig when you're hollowing it out too far into the roof that will make it collapse. So you put twigs all around it, you hollow it out, bizarre, you have a Quincy. Bizarre? What the hell is bizarre? Bizarre. So I can stand on it. So it's getting compact, and I think I'm almost ready to dig inside and start making the actual compartment, which is the nerve-wracking bit. So would you believe it? My first adventure of 2021 is properly in my back garden in a Quincy. I never thought I'd ever be building a Quincy in my back garden. I actually feel like this is a proper adventure, you know? Well, it is. The thing about adventure, it doesn't have to be a massive expedition all the time. If I only got a kick out of expeditions, then, you know, I'm only doing them sometimes only a couple times a year. So I'd be pretty miserable the rest of the time. But you've got to get your adventure thrill somewhere else. And yeah, I know this is a little bit extravagant, building a Quincy, a snow hut in the garden. The idea that when I could be in my bed warm, which is about 50 yards away, but instead I'm choosing to be here, that's what adventure can be like. It's whether you take one path or the other sometimes, and a lot of the time if the path is harder, then it's probably going to be the one most worthwhile. But it's all too easy to take the easier path, and the more times you take the easier path, the more times you're less likely to take the harder path. But it's worth it. You have to ask yourself, you know, why aren't I doing this, and what's holding you back from stepping out of your comfort zone more. But it's all too easy to fall into that habit of negative thinking and this isn't going to change, this isn't going to change. And the thing is, you're just going to make it do things that you can control. What can you control? I can control to have a mini adventure here, and what's that going to make me feel like afterward? I know it's going to make me feel pretty good tomorrow. I'll probably be pretty tired tomorrow, but I'm going to remember this. Remember that time I did this. So that's why you should have those adventures. Have a think. What can you do to forward in whatever you want to do? And try making the decision yourself. So it's all up to you, but put yourself in an uncomfortable scenario, and you'll find that actually you'll be proud of yourself for making that decision in the first place. It doesn't even matter if you don't complete it, but you've decided to have a go and try it. That's more than the person sitting on the couch, so give it a go. So I'm in my sleeping bag, I'm in my bivvy, I'm in my Quincy, and so I think I'll see you when the sun comes up. Looking forward to it. I'm pretty tired now, so night. Good morning, it's just past 6 a.m. I think the sun's just starting to come out. I think it's time to start the workday. I think you have to push yourself and do these things in order to feel a little bit better, a little bit energized, and feel good about yourself and what's to come, because it changes your mindset like ways you wouldn't know. All I can say is, what can you do tonight, tomorrow, next weekend, just on your doorstep that will mix up your routine? So that's my little story about how I built and slept in the Quincy. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've been maybe inspired to go and do your own little adventure on your doorstep, because hey, we all need it right now more than ever. So have a think of what you can do. If you're new here, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Every little helps. I really appreciate a little subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, then thank you very much and welcome back. And I look forward to the next video. And until then, see you next time. Bye.